And so that's why they like to still be called midgets, guys. You don't have to say dwarf. You don't have to say little person.
No, I always have to say, no, it's my acronym. It's AIHS, Altitude Impaired Homo sapien.
There you go.
I think the word is homunculus.
No, homunculus is artificially created life through magic.
And anything over 6'2" is a altitude enhanced Homo sapien, AEHS. Well, the rest of us between 4'8" and 6'1" is HS.
Did you just say homunculus is made through magic? Like, really?
Yes.
Really? Okay.
Okay, so what's everybody drinking now? Starting with Redbeard, what did you grab? Ooh, Karma Citra.
Karma Citra. First time it showed up here in like 3 years.
Nice.
Ashley is lame. Ashley is lame.
Not as lame as Lee singing is.
All right. So
Lee singing it.
Suck my dick.
Is singing it.
Suck my dick.
Okay, so Lee, what are you drinking?
Work a little better on your shady singing voice.
Walk like a Lexicron.
Church brewing. Oh, it's an ankle.
Ankle. Nice.
Oh, I'm going to go put my ankle in the fridge. You'll have to.
All right, Greg, what are you drinking?
I'm having a GLB 2010 West Coast IPA, and it's pretty good.
Sounds pretty neat. I'm assuming it's an old school recipe.
Apparently, it's a West Coast. It's a recipe that they never actually released previously, and they were just like, "Hey." The story they tell here is apparently they couldn't get the ingredients to make any more New England style IPAs, so they had to go find an old recipe and make that.
It's actually kind of cool because, like, I'd love to see a trend of them going towards more like retro IPAs at this point. Weird.
Yeah, that would be cool. It's like retro running shit.
Robo Hop is so tasty.
It's so sad that we have to call a West Coast IPA a retro.
Yeah.
Like, that's
I mean,
I don't think anybody's actually calling it a retro IPA.
I don't know. Some people are. I mean, it's kind of true now, right? Because how many people who are getting into beer now were like born like 25 years ago, and they're just getting into craft beer, and that's when those things sort of started popping up, right? So
they're like, oh, beers can taste like fruit now. Oh, I love IPAs.
Whoa, why is this IPA so bitter?
Yeah.
Remember when IPAs?
This doesn't taste like Alexander Keith.
All right, and Ashley, what are you drinking?
I'm going to power myself through this Mill Street Hopton Confused Volume 2, which they turned into a session IPA, 4.7%. They claim to use Mosaic, Galaxy, and Centennial hops and fermented warm with Vike yeast.
yeah,
Interesting.
I heard Vikings.
Viking,
yeah.
Viking chicks, yeah.
And as you would expect from a session IPA, it is rather thin in body, little malt characteristic, and it's hoppy.
What do you give it out of 10? Or 6 on the ground.
I'll give it a 6.7.
Fuck, I was way off. I gave that a good 7.9.
that's not too way off.
I liked it.
I am drinking a Beanhead Milk Stout from Sussex Ale Works.
Yeah, you said that.
Well, yeah, I didn't say while we were live.
Yeah, Redbeard.
What? We're live?
Yeah, we're live.
I'm going to give that a 2 out of 10, Nick.
Which Sussex Ale Works, they do mostly they brew on site, but they do mostly like other people's beers and have like a little like bar or growlers to go. But I think in order to have that kind of license, they have to brew on site, which is dumb. In New Brunswick, they're backwards brewing laws or
Don't all breweries brew on site?
Well, in order to sell beer in this format, you have to brew on site in New Brunswick. So they can't just have a place where they sell growlers of stuff that they have on tap.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm catching what you're throwing.
It's just New Brunswick's kind of dumb.
No, they're not. They're not.
Oh, you're not stupid.
You're not stupid.
You're not dumb. You're
Fuck you, I'm stupid than you.
They're not really stupid. They're pretty much just inbred. They're all a bunch of hillbillies.
Oh, I thought Alberta was the deep south of Canada.
God, I'm originally from
it's New Brunswick's the deep south of the Maritimes.
Thank God my family's originally from Nova Scotia, right, Lee?
Nova Scotia?
You wouldn't know it.
You guys brothers?
No.
What?
No, they're cousins.
No, the Lows come from Nova Scotia, so.
The Loads.
Yeah, we ran them the fuck out. Like they ran snakes out of fucking Ireland.
Oh, God. Well, then.
I feel like Nick and Lee are like the Bloods and the Crips.
No, there's still a cluster of them living along the rivers and streams, and yeah.
You gotta know what side of the track.
Which gang's cooler, the Bloods or the Crips? I don't follow.
Well, the if you want to be cool, I think the Crips. It depends where, I think.
Yeah. Well, if the Crips are cooler, then yeah, I'm definitely the Crips, and Nick can be the Bloods or whatever the fuck.
We get the man of the half hour here. Yurt's in the background.
Ah, fuck him.
Can't let you in, Yurt.
Sorry, Yurt. Sorry, Yurt.
Red Buert.
You sit on your throne and drink your beer with your toucan, you fucking freak.
Yeah. You're 8.25 out of 10 beer.
Yeah.
I was drinking a Flying Monkey Juicy Ass. And now I'm opening up a Bicycle Brewery on the Lamb IPA.
Did you taste the juicy ass? That was like 5 seconds ago.
No, 5 minutes.
That's still pretty quick.
Yeah. Well, it's only 6.5%, right? So, anyway, this one is 6.6%, 56 IBU, EBU. Oh God, it smells like wine.
Lucky you.
I think this is a not one of their regular lineup, but this is a one-time. How do you call those? Not
a one-off.
Yeah.
What is it again? Sorry, what did you say it is?
On the Lamb.
Oh, yeah, never.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The pint is not as pronounced when you drink it, but it is good. Very easy flowing. I taste the grapefruit a little bit. It's not as. Yeah, I like it. I'll give it a 7.5. Nothing too special. Just still pretty good though.
If it's pretty good, then that 10 out of 25, that's like 4 out of 10, man. That's a shitty rating, dude.
No, it's a 7.5 out of 10.
I heard it 25 somehow.
7.5 out of 10.
Oh.
For me, it's good.
No.
Which would be 15 out of 20.
That's a Nick out of 10.
Right, Beard. Who the fuck rates a beer out of 25?
That's that radar would. That's what I'm saying. Like, is it just random radar?
No. The ratings are wrong. I may be
10 out of 25.
Weird and unorthodox in many things, but rating is not one of them. I cannot see how. It's like, you know what? Out of 5, I'll rate it number pi. 3.144444.
Some weird ginger North Bay metric.
It's not 3.14 repeating radar. Like pi just keeps going, man.
159 something.
There's people out there that can recite it to like 100 or more decimals, man. It's fucking
and those are just nerds. They're nerds.
Yeah.
I rate this 8 out of 5 broken ribs.
They're not really adding to society because they know the next 100 digits of pi.
3.14159265.
They'll be the first to go in the zombie apocalypse.
It's actually a measure of like new computing power and stuff. Is like what I think it's always like the new thing, like how many decimals they've calculated to now. Currently, I think that like the thing is, does it ever stop repeating? They want to find out if it has an end, and it doesn't repeat though. It just keeps on going. These fucking it keeps on going, and like that it's one of those. It's one of the weirder numbers that exist, I guess. If you like math, it's interesting. I hate math, but it's one of the only numbers I find interesting.
I failed 2 courses in high school, and both of them were maths. God, I hated maths.
Yeah.
I didn't mind math. I just had like the stupidest idiot teachers in fucking high school for math. Then, like in the one class I had, my grade 10 math class, over half the class failed, just because the teacher didn't know how to teach anybody. Like everyone was always constantly being like, "What does this mean? How do we do this and this and that?" It's just, just look up at the board. It's all explained right there for you. And just like, it was a horror show. It was awful.
North Bay Education.
Horror show.
This was Perry Sound actually.
Perry Sound education at its finest.
There you go. Yeah.
No mathematicians coming out of Perry Sound that year.
Grade 9, math teacher was awesome. His name was actually Mr. Matho. It was kind of funny.
Matho?
My math teacher was mid-name Mr. Matho. He was a good teacher.
Mr. Matho.
And actually, thinking about it now, that was when I know what that shitty teacher was actually North Bay. So, first thing you said there, Ashley, I'm sorry.
Are you saying it's like? Are you sure it's Matho or was it Mathow? As in like
Walter Matho?
It was Matho. His name was like Matho. Matho.
He made that up. He made that up. You got that legally changed because he's a freak.
Yeah, I'll go with that one too.
Yeah. He probably got it legally changed because like in secret he's like a super villain. He's got a little layer somewhere. Mr. Matho. I will destroy the world with decimals.
That comes back to a newer episode of the show that you haven't got caught up on. Damn it.
Yeah, I'm never going to caught up on that. I'm sorry.
God damn it, Lee.
I'm sorry you got no one to nerd out with on the Venture Brothers.
I hate it.
What?
It's the most underappreciated show in the fucking world, man. Maybe not in the world, but it's up there.
Well, you said it, man. That's your claim.
Greg, are you trying to fuck your wife again, or are you actually talking tonight?
Greg hasn't been talking for a while.
Take him out and bring Yurt in, I guess. I hate to say that, but you know.
Yeah. You guys
my grade, I barely passed grade 10 and 11 math because for me and my buddy, it was just one more to go and get repped in between classes, which we did. And Mr. Kenyon, my teacher, passed me both years with a 50 on the nose. Just bumped me up just to get me through.
He's like, I don't want to see your ass again, Sexton.
Well,
the joke was like, on him because he passed me in 10 and I got him again in 11. And then he passed me in 11 and I never saw him again. Sadly, he passed away.
I hate math teachers.
Are you saying you killed him? Did he like kill himself or something?
No. I don't know what happened to him. He passed away long after I graduated.
Oh, okay.
This guy, Ken Dog, as we called him, Mr. Kenyon, but we just called him Ken Dog. He would wear the exact same outfit all week. No word of a lie. Same pants, same shirt, didn't give a fuck. Just boom. All week.
Yeah, I feel that.
And then he just, the next week it would be a different outfit, but he just kept that same shit going, man. He did not give a fuck.
Yeah. No. Live your life, Mr. Kenyon. Well, you can't now, but.
And I was not great in high school, and I had so many math teachers that's like, well, you should get this. It's so simple, and if you don't fucking get it, then you're obviously not a math person.
So the teachers in my high school, they had like they had this weird pool that they put money in, but it was based around the stock market, and they're like certain stocks and stuff like that. It was some sort of weird betting pool in the stock market. And like one math teacher I had who looked like he lived in a fucking ditch because he'd come in like wearing like his tweed suit, his hair all messed up. Like he'd come in his little shit beater car, just drive into school late with like a cup of coffee, and like he just looked like he got drunk all last night. And fell in the ditch somewhere. And he'd come in, and half the class would be him like looking through the paper at the stock market, leaving, or having another teacher come in and talk to him about stocks for a few seconds, and the bets they're putting on it and shit. And like that was like most of the class. He's one of those guys who put like the stuff on the board, and you're supposed to have to like translate whatever the fuck he put on the board and understand it. And there's going to be a test in a couple weeks, and he doesn't teach it jack shit.
Some teachers like I remember I
right there.
One of the only OAC class I took, like I'm old people and stuff. I imagine most of you guys know what that is. grade 13 was called OAC.
Yeah.
Now it's gone now, as far as I know.
Yeah, the last year was my year, actually.
One of the only courses that I took in OAC was writer's craft, and it was just like all about writing stories and stuff, and just getting better at that kind of stuff. And just the teacher was just such an awesome guy. Like, he just always had time for you, and just I can't really even explain it. I just have like really good memories of like that one class in high school. Like most of my high school memories, high school is way better than public school, because public school it was like, hey, I'm out of recess, and I turn around and hey, there's the entire next grade above me class of guys coming towards me to jump on me and beat the crap out of me because my name is Carrie. Yeah, it was good. It was a good time. But high school, in Perry Sound, high school was kind of the same because there's a lot of the same people, so that it sucked. And that's when I went through the first half of grade 10, and I was like, you know what? I'm fucking done with this. I'm done. So I moved here, and I was like, new place, new start. It's not going to happen. And like one of the first times somebody really started to fucking bully me, we were waiting for our teacher to get to the class in some computer class. We're all outside waiting, and this one guy started making fun of me, and I just fucking grabbed him, and I swung him around one time and let him go, and he went flying right into the door of the class and like crumpled in a heap. And it was like, I'm not taking it anymore.
The guy said a few things to you, and then you violently assaulted him.
No, he was going on and on and on and on and on and on. Yeah. It was like, you know what?
So basically, you stood up for yourself.
And you violently assaulted him, is what you're saying.
Yeah, he piled on. Just, you know what? You get to a breaking point, man. It happens. I'm sorry.
Yep, I agree.
It's not right. It's bad. It was bad. I'm not disagreeing with your point you're kind of making here, but you know what? People have a breaking point, and he fucking pushed me over the edge, man.
I feel like you're the Ginger version of Christmas Story, where he beats up the bully.
And then you picked him up and you slammed him on top of a picket fence while that white piece of wood protruded from his chest. And you took the blood and you spread it on your face.
Actually, another guy. The only other time it happened at that school, I was in gym class. And this one guy, he always was just kind of bullying me, bugging me. And this one day we're playing basketball. And we're playing basketball on like the gym's like long like this, but it can be segmented into spaces, and the basketball courts turn like this kind of thing. And so there's the basketball hoop is kind of here, and there's not much room past that. Like there's like the fold away bleachers that are like right there. So if you're running at the hoop and you miss, you've got to like kind of brace yourself off the wall, or else you're gonna go flying. And we're playing, and this one fucking asshole, he's like pushing me around. And one time I go to make this layup. I'm in the air, like going to let go of the ball. And while I'm in the air, he fucking shoves me. And I don't know how I did it, but I managed to like get my feet like on top of the bleacher kind of thing, and like just turned around and just launched myself on top of him. Wow. And just like I got on him. Like I got on top of him, put him like a fucking choker hold, and I was just like it took all of my energy to not just like fucking murder him right there, but like within like 5 seconds, teacher's like, hey, break it up, both of you. And I get up, and some other kid out of nowhere comes up and like punches me in the back, being like, I guess he was this kid's friend, and like, oh, I gotta stick in, like, yeah, I gotta be the extra bully on top of the bully. And just the teacher kicked me out of class, and I had the class to myself. I didn't have to do anything. You go to the office, he's like, you guys out. And
teacher doesn't fucking want Jet Li in the gym class. Like, come on.
But yeah, I just
fucking like they call you.
There's rage in me. I don't know what to say.
So, Red, I've known you for a few years now. Sort of funny to say that, and I've realized this about you, my friend. You hold on to things for too long. You gotta let that shit go, man.
What's funny about knowing a person for a couple of years?
Let it go.
I don't even know. Like, I basically like it's
that memory enrages you right now.
No, you know what? If anything, it makes me feel good that like I fucking finally like the memories of before that public school memories make me mad, because I'm just like, I never stood up for myself. I just always like, well, it's hard to stand up to a fucking entire class of fucking guys, but like still there were times when I could have like, done something. I used to like run away and all that. I was the biggest little bitch in the world, man. And like the memories that I have of like actually being like, you know what, I actually fucking stood up for myself and Yeah.
I imagine you were like Gumby, hard to catch. So you kind of wiggled your way out of things.
Hey, I haven't.
No, again, I'd run, but I'd run, and they'd catch me, and it'd be that much worse because I'm out of breath. And now they're fucking kicking my ass. I can't. Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, granted, I mean, I guess this is back in what, the 80s or the early 90s, but I'm like, I don't know. Even back then when I was a thing, if you kids kicked the shit out of another kid, the police got called, and those kids got fucking taken to not to prison, but like, you know, they got fucking.
That's Toronto.
No,
Toronto's like the US.
This would have been like the last time any kind of thing happened where I was like fucking beat on. Would have been probably grade 9. So I can't recall how old you are in grade 9 typically, like maybe 13, 14.
Yeah, 13, 14
yeah.
that year.
Yeah. So
That's all right.
yeah, and then after that, and again, it was just like I remember one day coming home on the bus when I still lived in Perry Sound. It might be like grade 8 or something like that. And it was in high school. It was like grade 9. I remember fucking sitting on the bus and just this entire fucking group of guys. I guess one of the guys was having a sleepover that night, so all of his friends were there on the bus too that weren't usually there, and they all just like ganged up on me. And at one point, like the fucking one kid like just fucking hawked a loogie in my face and shit. It was just like I literally I got off the bus, walked in my house, and like went straight to my room, and like walked in my room, and like my dad comes in like, "Are you okay?" And I just fucking just broke down. It was like fucking I went through some shit when I was a kid, man.
Yeah, it
was
sucks,
not
man.
fun.
It sucks. I hear you, man.
Funny because you're ginger and you're Carrie. Is that like literally the only reason they made fun of you?
Freckle-faced boy named Carrie, man. Pretty much. Yep.
You should have
My name rhymes with fairy. Ha!
But speaking of that OAC, I was in the last year we could do that.
That sucks to be you too.
My young sister, who was 1 year younger than me, she couldn't. And so, yeah.
I was in the second last year that had OAC.
Yeah, so you're 38, right? Greg?
What's
For the
that?
first time, I want to kind of add on to the "don't let Ewart in" thing, because like he's belittling my story by try being named Ewart. Like, fuck you, man.
I mean, I am going to throw out there that Ewart's kind of a shitty name, but
I don't need to try that shit.
I have the most female of all of the names.
No. You're Ash Lexicon 600.
Actually, I would argue ours are equal. I've met just as many guy Ashleys as girl Ashleys, guy Carries and girl Carries. It's more common, in my opinion, for a guy and a girl to be a girl to be named Carrie or Ashley. So both of our names are on the girly side of things. But
now, my question for Ashley: is Sexton your maiden name or your married name?
That's a weird question to ask.
Try that again.
Why did it take me 30 seconds to figure it out?
I'd like to know, like, did you take your wife's name? Was your wife's name Sexton?
Fuck, Greg.
Or was that your natural born name?
Ashley's the most progressive person ever. He might have taken his wife's name. Why not?
Kids are cruel. Try having a name that rhymes with dick.
When Ashley's first kid was
Try
born,
having a name that rhymes with dick.
It's neither a boy or a girl. We'll decide later.
The only thing I'm gonna say is that, you know what, like obviously, Carrie, it sounds like you still carry it with you a little bit, like, and I'm not gonna say anything against that. I'm just gonna say, like, at some point you just have to fucking say that, like, kids are fucking assholes. Like, throughout my school career, I was never really the kid that got picked on. I was never really the cool kid either. I was always kind of that middle kid. And there's times I probably bullied people, and there's times I got bullied as well. And it just kind of, you have to kind of put your hands up and be like, you know what? Life fucking sucks. It's not fair, and kids are pieces of shit. And kids continue to be pieces of shit, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I'd say that a number of things that I went through and the number of bullshit, it's a bit beyond just kids being kids kind of thing. It's like, no, some kids are fucking vicious little monsters that should be put down like rabid dogs.
I got a question, Gary. I'm actually leading someone.
Straight up.
Here we go again.
With their Carrie, did you ever have anything put into your butt?
I had somebody take their pencil and stick and like hold it under my ass as I sat down on my chair one time in class, and I got like a half a pencil embedded in my ass. I go to the hospital and get it removed. That was fun.
Okay, well, honestly,
that's amateur.
That wasn't actually the answer I expected.
Yeah, probably not. You want to ask another one? I probably got an answer for that too, baby. Like, dude, the number of fucking stupid shit that I got fucking done to me.
Yeah, dude.
In the toilet? Yeah. Locked in a locker? Yeah. But everything you want to ask? Yeah.
Don't you know Redbeard was the most oppressed and abused child ever? Worse than black people.
Wow. Yeah, wasn't going there, but thanks, Lee.
Well,
you were getting there.
wasn't building to that at all.
The reason I asked that question is so in my high school, we had an issue with the football team. So I went to St. Mike's in Toronto.
Sodomizing each other as a hazing?
It was a hazing. And it's an all-guys school, so yeah, it was a lot of dick sucking, all that good stuff. So the football team got in trouble when I was in high school. Now, granted, this was in the early 90s, before social media, all that shit, where they hazed the dude and they somehow stuck an egg up his ass. Don't ask me how, but apparently they did. Whatever.
What?
So, when I went to high school, it ended up with the whole
eggs have shocking structural integrity.
Exactly. The whole team got suspended, and they had to apologize to the school, and that's where it was. Fast forward to a couple of years later. Now, those of you who aren't in Toronto probably don't know about this, but pretty much the same thing happened a couple of years ago, about 2-3 years ago, where they were hazing a guy in the field. They tied him to a pole, and they actually shoved the broom up his ass. This time, because it was social media, somebody filmed it, and it went onto social media. And as a result, people on the team got arrested for child pornography because the dude was under 18. It happened to both the principal, the president, and I believe the vice principal all had to resign because it happened under their watch. So they all resigned, as in got fired.
Wasn't that?
And I believe many of the kids actually had sexual assault charges, which I think have been settled at a court at this point. But it was a massive fucking controversy. So that's between early 90s and fucking now. Now everything's
See, I played
good. Hey,
when I moved from when I was in Perry Sound, the whole minor niner thing was like they were trying to. It was outlawed. You weren't allowed to do it, but they was still like you walking down the fucking hallway and you grabbed out of the fucking hallway into an empty class and they fucking just do terrifying, horrible things to you. But the God, fucking traumatizing. It just derailed my train of thought. I'm sorry.
So I mean,
football. Football. That's what I was. Sorry, Ashley. There was when I was in Perry Sound, they didn't have a football team. Oddly enough, there was no football team of any kind, and I moved to here, North Bay, and it was an English class. And the English teacher was doing a lesson at one point, and I was like, looked me. I guess he was the coach of the football team, and he actually said like you should try out for the team, and I did, and I'm assuming it's because they didn't have enough people trying out. I made the team because like I don't know. I played football, and the first season I destroyed my knee during practice. It's one of the best stories ever. Like I think I played maybe 2 games of actual football before getting sidelined for the entire season. It was like if anybody here's played football, there's a drill they do called the monkey roll. You get 3 guys all like kind of on their hands and knees lined up, not human centipede style, but like next to each other style. And like the one guy jumps over the other guy and the other guy jumps over and just like kind of like you gotta and it's about getting the rhythm going. And the one guy was going like way faster than us, and like I jumped, and as I landed, he was already coming over, and he jumped into the side of my leg and made like you know how your knee usually bends like this? Mine like bent like that, like completely like totally the wrong way. And I like just screamed out in pain, and like the code they brought me over and sat me by a tree. They sat me over by a tree, gave me some ice. I sat there with ice on my leg for the rest of practice. And by the end of practice, they come over, are you okay? How you feeling? Are you okay? And I pull the ice off, and my knee looks like a fucking football. I got footballs in my knee now. I had to go to the hospital, I had to get surgery and all kinds of fun shit for that. It was great.
That sucks.
Good times. Yeah, it was a good time.
Don't know where to go after that one.
Total bummer, dude.
Well, at least he didn't have to play football again and get a concussion.
You know what? Next season, I came back and I played again, and our team, we not nearly enough people tried out for the team, and like halfway through the season, we actually had to like give up and like be like, we're done because we didn't have enough people for a team. We had this one guy on the team. He was like this brand new guy from the States or something that came here, this like football thing in the States, and we all called him Jesus. I can't remember his actual name, but for some reason we called him Jesus. And like,
he's Spanish. That's probably Jesus.
No, he wasn't. He was full.
Okay.
He was a full-on white guy, but for some reason they called him Jesus, and it was like, but
no, his name was Zeus. It was a dude from
Jesus.
Again, but he was the most gung ho, hardcore, like all about the game guy I've ever met in person in my life. Like it was fucking outrageous. Like just actually, no, but one other guy. The season I got sidelined because I was still on the team. Whenever there was a football game or something like that, where they had to like get excused from school and go out of town or something like that, I still got to go along and like sit on the sidelines and watch. And it was like, I'm getting out of class. I'll still go on these football things. And the one guy on our team, his name was Chuck, still kind of a friend of mine.
El Chuco.
He was this fucking monster of a guy. Like when everybody else in grade 10 was, like just over 5 feet and like 150, 160. This guy was like fucking 6'5" and like fucking 250 pounds. He was just massive, and he was our kind of he was the guy that won every game for us basically. Like everything, like it was to get the ball to him and no one can stop him. Basically, was our plan all the time. And the one game against Whitfield, another high school here in town. My high school was Chippewa versus Whitfield. Ooh, and we were down by a touchdown, and somebody like he was about to like at the end zone, jumping up, catch the ball. I think he got the touchdown when he fell down, but he landed and fucking his ankle like exploded.
Oh,
like the
ball went off in it,
just went over on it and just like compound fracture, blood. Like the worst thing I've ever seen in my life in person. I'm not me. I was on the sidelines, but
like compound fracture and like spread the blood on your face and like scream into the sky, like your Scottish pride.
You're a weird fucking guy, man.
I think you gotta fucking say something.
I think that's the beard.
No.
You're just gonna sit there and bitch about how it won't let you in.
I'm allowed on now.
Yeah,
you're on. Last thing, there were scouts at this last game that were looking at him.
15 fucking minutes, and you didn't say shit.
And it's because people were still talking. There's not been a
you're still
the last
talking.
thing. People, there were scouts. There were scouts for the CFL at this game, and like if he hadn't broken his ankle right there, he might have like now he's like working.
Luckily, he didn't end up in the CFL. Luckily, he got a real job.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Maybe could have went to the States and been who the fuck knows. But now he's like continuing his family's plumbing business, which does well. Like they're all around town, but I'm sure it's a little less glamorous than being a football star kind of thing.
CFL
yeah, but I'm sure it's a living. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like $80,000 minimum.
And I think
like 300.
Don't people go from like being in the CFL to like making it to the NFL and going back and forth kind of thing sometimes?
No, rarely.
Really?
Is it rare? Okay, yeah, I don't know football, so.
But they do become like gym teachers, like universities and stuff like that. So I haven't heard of any guy that's like,
yeah.
Well, guys who go to CFL are guys trying to hang on to football, and they don't really have any. Most guys don't have any real aspirations beyond that. They were trying to make the NFL, and they settled for the CFL. Exactly.
But they usually stay in the CFL.
I'm so sad.
That's true.
I believe you would have just make it just sounds so sad. Like
a guy I went to high school with was on a CFL tryout team. Never made the team, but he said basically that's what it came down to.
Well, it's funny. Like if I had a gun to my head and I had to name like 10 CFL players as opposed to 10, I'm pretty sure I could name 10 NFL players. Just like like Tom Brady, fucking Bo Jackson was in the NFL. Fucking again, gun to my head would work better now. But CFL, I couldn't name a single player that is like famous enough.
Doug Flutie.
Yeah, I was gonna say that there.
I got nothing, man. Yeah.
There's also a Canadian running back, played for the Ticats. Ash, you might know who he is, who was long hair, and he had a really huge year one year in the CFL, and then he got an opportunity to play in the NFL, and I don't think it really amounts to anything, and then he came back.
What was his name?
Was it David Ashley, like this guy with the long hair? Was that
I know exactly I know exactly what you're talking about, because his father was pretty involved in the sport as well, and he was on the oh shit, what the hell's his name? Yeah, he's like disappeared into obscurity now. He's probably
he tried to go to the NFL, but
big kid too, really fast, super powerful. Shit, what the hell's his name?
Bob.
Actually, there's a kid from Windsor, last name Wilson. What's his first name?
Luke Wilson. He went to my high school, not the same time as me, but he went to my high school. Yeah, it's actually from my town, LaSalle.
The name Windsor Wilson sounds kind of cool in my head. I don't know why. That'd be a cool name.
Anyways, he is a very good tight end, is he not? With Seattle still? Yep.
He's back with Seattle. Yeah, he won a Super Bowl.
Yep.
And he became a free agent after a couple of years, went to play for the Lions for a year. Was cut, and he went to the Raiders, and then now I think he's back with Seattle again.
Back with Seattle,
yeah. You were being like more people than me being. What are your thoughts on Dwayne Johnson buying the XFL?
I'm shocked, but Dwayne seems to be aligning himself with the right guys. So there's something in it that he can make money on. So
he's the Rock. He's the Rock, man. Like he's not the best actor ever, but he's probably the best actor to come out of the wrestling thing. Like he's not bad.
But it's about business.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, and on that thing, he's very smart, and he seems to make a lot of really good decisions on that front. So and apparently. He named some lady as the lady. It's like he doesn't own it apparently. I think it's that some lady owns the XFL right now or something, or is like in charge of it or some shit. And it's like the first lady to ever be in charge of a sports league or some shit. It was like a big announcement that happened a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, he's a smart guy, and he's made a lot of money, not because he's the best actor or the best wrestler or the whatever, but because he's a smart person. And he's probably, I could only assume he surrounds himself with smart people. So
yeah, I'd agree.
I'm sorry, I bet they've tried to get him on episodes of Shark Tank. Like when all they get the guest people on as guests, and you got Jeff Foxworthy on there and fucking other random people. You're like, who the fuck is this person?
Yeah,
like,
why would he? He's not Jeff Foxworthy. He's an A-list guy, not a D-list. Former like comedian of the '90s. Come on, man. How can you put them in the same breath?
It's be funny. Yeah, I'm just saying.
What were you gonna say, buddy?
He actually was the highest paid actor of last year, so he's very
exactly.
I think he's still up there this year, isn't he?
Probably.
I think he's been the highest paid actor for a few now. Like he's like Hollywood royalty now.
I think 2 years ago it was Robert Downing Jr., but now like he's not really in anything important. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, he definitely has cachet, and he's attaching his name as basically being paid for his name to be attached to the XFL. Have you ever watched Ballers? I mean, it's basically like Ballers.
I've heard of Ballers.
I've finished watching that.
I haven't seen it.
It's a great show. Great show.
I pretty much feel like your story of like living in a life of luxury and swimming in gold.
Huh?
Scrooge McDuck style.
Yeah, he can't afford a freaking hearing aid.
You guys ever see the analysis on the DuckTales and Scrooge McDuck diving into the fucking like pool of gold, like all the gold coins? If everybody actually did that, gold isn't like water. Yeah, it's just like splat and die.
That was an episode of the Family Guy.
Is that what it was?
When Peter goes in and then he breaks every bone. Like, what the fuck?
Nice. I remember like Mythbusters or something. I felt that did something like that, and
guess what? It was also a talking duck with a monocle. So I don't know, man. It just screams reality to me.
You know what? You were in this context of cartoons not being realistic at all. I'll give you that one, man. You got that one.
And I don't want to take this off the rails for a second, but you mentioned what show did you just mention? Fucking
DuckTales.
No.
Ballers. Oh, Ballers.
Mythbusters.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Grant Imahara.
Yeah. 3 weeks ago, I think.
No, it's longer than that. It's about a month, at least a month ago now, I think.
Yeah, it's been over a month. What happened? Did they say what the cause of death was? Or does no one really care?
Something medical, like aneurysm.
It's some random fucking thing that can happen out of the blue, man. Like,
so he did too much cocaine and he had a heart attack.
I don't think so.
I don't think.
I thought I heard it was an aneurysm.
It was just like a blood clot, or whatever fucking in your body you don't know about.
Cocaine.
And it moves. And
it's a hell of a drug, man.
I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, me too.
Especially being like a well-known like scientist. I felt like
brain aneurysm. It says
being a super fucking well-respected and like he was into like the robotics and shit, like the stuff he was doing. I don't feel like he was abusing cocaine. That just doesn't seem.
It may be a far stretch, but it's a possibility.
It's a possibility, but as far as like other people that you see that die of ODs and stuff like that, he doesn't seem to fall in that category, man. Like that, no.
The show Junkyard Wars.
Junkyard Wars was fucking awesome. That was years ago.
He was in that show.
Was he?
What?
He was in that show.
I don't know. That was a long time ago, man.
Before Mythbusters.
That show was fucking great. That was an awesome show.
Yeah,
it was like
the Mythbusters. Like apparently Jamie and Adam were never actually friends off set. That's
well known.
That doesn't surprise me at all. I know that, but I'm not surprised.
25 years they knew each other. Apparently, this is in 2016 that they never had dinner alone together. So I just like, man, that's like not really team building, is it?
No, well, like look at the number of times on that show where they had like a falling out that was like, wow, that seems kind of fucking serious between those guys. Like they weren't. They're both scientists with saying the same idea. Like people can work together.
Job and it's a show. I've had the exact same assistant manager, and we've worked side by side for the last 5 years.
Empty beer.
And yeah, I've never had a sit down dinner with that person. It's just a job. You know what I mean? It's the same. Yeah, it's like they play a persona on screen, but it doesn't mean that they're. They spend their 8 hours or 10 hours together a day, just like you would with any other coworker. But
would you want to be friends with those ginger freaks on fucking Mythbusters? I would.
Not even close.
You fucking bastard.
Because
actually, you know what? Look at Top Gear. Top Gear, it's look at not now, but back when it was cool, and you probably still won't because you didn't like yours. Understandable. In your opinion, fair enough. But the three hosts, like, I think they get along a little now. Like, there's been episodes, like in the episodes they have to get together for dinner and shit like that. But overall, off screen, they really don't do anything together, kind of thing. It's one of those.
It makes no sense.
No, but just you think they would, because especially like in that context, like three hosts of a show doing like all these crazy, like the things they did.
They go to
the grand tour and stuff, and like all these huge adventures and shit. You'd think that they'd kind of build a bit of a rapport and friendship and want to.
Where they shit in buckets together. I think they've had enough of each other.
But here's the thing: they're just people like you and I. They're just doing their job. Imagine someone watching a show about you doing your work day in, day out with your coworkers, and who knows? We're living on a parallel universe where that's exciting and someone gives a shit. Where no one does. But let's just say they're watching a show about you working with fucking Simon and Garfunkel, and they're like, and you're like, yeah, okay, guys, see ya, have a good night, good job today. And people at home are like, oh man, I bet you they like hang out all the time and do this sort of shit. Why? They're just a bunch of fuckos.
You know what? Again, I'll give you that. But at the same time, with this show, when they like do like the big huge adventures and shit, where they're like forced to be in close quarters for these times, and then like spend nights in hotels and stuff, and just you'd think that there would be a bit more. Again, you're being paid.
I wouldn't want to.
You'd think that they'd.
You get sick of them. It's just like rock bands.
I'll give you that. Makes sense. Yeah.
They can't fucking they get along while they're playing music, hopefully, but for the most part, they don't like each other. They don't hang out. Fucking even like
you know what, Lee?
Fuck
you and your flawless logic, you bastard.
You know what? And that would be a really tough one because they like when they go on tour, like major touring bands, they're on tour for like half a year.
Mick Jagger and fucking Keith Richards fucking hated each other's guts for years. They still really don't like each other.
It's a random segue from that. If you guys haven't seen Craig Ferguson's live on Broadway or something, like he's got like a stand-up thing where he talks about hanging out with the Rolling Stones, and like his take is like Mick Jagger is the singer in Keith Richards' band. Like the Rolling Stones is key, and it's just like if you guys like Craig Ferguson and missed the Late Late Show when it was actually good when he was the host, and you want to fucking laugh your asses off, go find some of Craig Ferguson's actual stand-up because he is.
I've never seen a stand-up.
He is fucking hilarious. He basically just tells stories of what's happened to him, like back when he used to get. Like he's been sober for many, many years now.
Yeah.
But back in the day, he was not. And his stories of that shit and the way he tells them again with his, he's got that voice. I don't know what it is. He's got that perfect kind of Scottish voice. It's fucking, I can listen to Craig Ferguson narrate a book or something all day long. And he's fucking hilarious. I really do miss the Late Show before. It was one of the only one I get home from work or wherever, find wherever I could, the file, download it and watch it. The only show, late night show that I watched, download the file. Because it wouldn't be live. I wouldn't record it. I'd go on the internet and download the file.
But, it's the only late night talk show that really had no fucking like people overlooking it and you know putting their hands in it.
That's the thing that was the best part. Like the censor guy was right there, and every time Craig would always. I remember one time he was trying to see like how close he could get to like giving the middle finger on the screen. He's like, oh. And as soon as then it blurred out instantly, and he's like, he always called the guy a racist. Him and Jeff the skeleton, they always called him a racist. It was just like
I call people racist all the time for just annoying.
But like in the interview, the way he did interviews with his guests, like Nick's just fucking that's hilarious. But the interviews, like the way he started them, like he has his cue cards saying talking points and just rip them up, throw them away, and he just have this great conversation with people and end it with like an awkward pause or the mouth organ or the bag. Just all these. He was
what a talk show should be. You should have a conversation with somebody, not fucking promoting their new fucking movie.
Steven Tyler, kind of the flip switch of Rolling Stones a little bit, I guess you could say. He did him and somebody else. I can't remember. Steven Tyler did like the mouth organ thing. And it's like if you can play the harmonica mouth organ really well, obviously call it a mouth organ because it sounds dirtier if you call it a mouth organ.
Yeah.
But if you can play it really well, you get like the golden harmonica. And Steven Tyler did it. And I want to say it might have been Wilford fucking Brimley. Somebody really, really unexpected played the harmonica really, really well on that show. And they got the golden harmonica. It was
fucking mouth organ, goddammit.
I could totally see Wilford Brimley.
Yeah.
He would have the like the mustache would add like an extra reverberation to everything, right?
I'm gonna get my whiskers deep down in this, goddammit.
Yeah. I think that would have had diabetes.
He did
diabetes in this, goddammit.
He had I don't know what type it was or how like severe it was for him, but he was like an advocate on the commercials and shit for a long time, like back when I was a kid.
I wonder where.
Was he really?
But no, but if he had it the whole time, so I gotta say, like, good for humanity. I imagine good for humanity and being able to make people with diabetes live a relatively.
I think he faked it. I think he was just that great of an actor. He faked the diabetes thing all along.
I don't think that would really be a far stretch as far as acting goes, but yeah.
I fooled you all, you suckers! Goddammit! Now I'm gonna die.
At least twice a month, we need to film you having some kind of weird diabetic coma thing so we can pretend it's real. Yeah.
It's going to be in the style of the Hitchhiker.
Oh, God damn it.
Lee Russell had diabetes when he was a young kid.
Hey, good news.
Little did you know, the diabetes had him.
Greg's talking.
The white, well, that's okay. I'm used to being interrupted. The white supremacist from New Zealand has gotten life in prison. Yay for that, I guess.
Good.
Good.
Why don't they just kill these people? Like, he killed 51 people. Why keep you alive? Like, why?
I agree. I'm all for capital punishment.
For something like that, yes.
For something so.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like there's any fucking doubt that he did it. It's not like it's like, well, maybe he did.
That's the thing. Whenever they're like, the number of people in the lifetime of capital punishment that have been put to death that were innocent, I don't agree with that. But like when it's the case of like, you're on video, you did this, you admit it. Yeah, you know what? We're gonna fucking throw you into a like. It's new. Does New Zealand have volcanoes? They must have at least one. Throw them into a fucking volcano.
Literally, the whole island is a volcano.
You put up a plaque somewhere saying like these horrible people have been given back to the earth or something. They don't get a tombstone. They get a plaque just with a bunch of names saying like these are the stupid assholes that get thrown in this fucking volcano. Yeah, that's what that's what they deserve. Straight up, like no firing squad, no lethal injection. Apparently, lethal injection isn't nearly as humane as they say.
Yeah.
Also, so
I've heard that.
Apparently, some people can be allergic to it, and it can be painful.
Not just that, but a bunch like sometimes they get the wrong chemical. Like depending on what state you're in, they're all cutting costs, and the wrong chemical might be in there, and you're awake the whole time. And
if you're gonna get behind the state actually killing people, then you're gonna bring back capital punishment, then why not just use a fucking guillotine? It gets the goddamn job done. No one survives getting their head fucking cut off.
Well, okay, but from what I hear, like, yes,
Greg, go ahead. I think I know what you're gonna say.
Those people that have fat necks, it doesn't always do it in one shot.
Well, two shots. That's still better than like
I wouldn't say
for like half an hour from lethal injection.
Have you guys seen there is the guillotine channel on YouTube? What? And these people built a full on guillotine, and they don't kill things, but they chop
like pumpkins. Yeah.
They chop weird shit, and that they're I don't care how fat your neck is. That thing is going through it in one shot, dude. Like that blade is the blade that just to lift it up and like get like just like this whole safety that's like double, triple safety fucking rigged because it's so dangerous. But it's like
doesn't quite do the job. Just have a big guy there with a fucking axe waiting to get the job finished.
Even that, some of those axes they used, they make them sharp enough, and like you're going through, man. Even if it's not through all, even if it's not through, like if you miss, like if you go like all the way through, you're up to there. That person's still dead. You know what I mean? Like it's like you're flopping down, but it's, as long as the spinal cord is severed.
You want the head in the basket, though. That's important. You want the head in the basket.
Well, the main thing, the main kind of contextual debate about the whole guillotine thing is that, like, it hasn't been proven or disproven because nobody can conduct this experiment because how would you? But like when you get your head chopped off, does your head stay alive for a couple seconds and you kind of see yourself? Oh trippy. Shit! Like I'm dead. And then you die. Like that would be. That'd be a weird.
If I were to give my own opinion, I think you probably do see it, but I think at that point your mind's not processing it, and you don't really understand what you're seeing.
Well, so why not why not a hand grenade in his mouth? That would do it.
That would just no. That would be that's beyond inhumane at that point. That's you got to sit there with it.
Actually, I'm thinking more of the mess than like the damage to the room he's standing in.
Also, yeah. but the whole like cutting your head off thing, like it's like as soon as you like, there's a shot. I remember like reading like I can't remember what it was, some like fiction book back in the day, and like about like the cops and stuff, and like there's a certain shot they go for if they're like the SWAT teams and stuff. They're gonna try to kill you, and it's like right in like the neck or something. If you hit like right here straight through, and it's like through here and into the spine, it's like instant death because there's the chance like if somebody has a gun to someone's head and you shoot them, they might instinctively pull the trigger when they die, kind of thing. Whatever it is, there's a shot you can make apparently that will like just it negates and like all the nerves, just everything's cut off. And the person's instantly dead. So you cut the head off, you'd think that you're instantly depriving the brain of any oxygen, which it really vitally needs. I just like would you see something? It's one of those experiments that like a mad scientist would kind of have to conduct or something. I don't know.
Well, there's also that speculation. I don't know if it's ever been scientifically proven that that you chop a person's head off, it can still maybe be conscious for a few seconds afterwards, and you can actually, like, a person would actually be able to experience looking at their body separated from their head.
That's exactly.
But you wouldn't be able to feel it. Yeah, well, I wasn't listening to what you were saying.
Yeah, we just talked about that for like 10 minutes, man.
Yeah, like half the things you said in this entire hangout I've not listened to, because a lot of it was about like XFL and other bullshit that I couldn't give two fucks about.
I moved past that a while ago, man. I'm sorry. We've been talking about exactly what you just said for a long time.
You know, I'm totally okay with a bunch of people getting, like, if you're a real shitty human being, like,
just give
in New Zealand who killed 51 people just because he didn't like them because they weren't white, I'm okay with you being burned at the stake or something.
Yeah.
Or like maybe a 4 second of pain, you know, like you said, the volcano. That's a good thing, but I would probably, devise a catapult first.
What about the?
No. You want them you want some kind of thing built over the volcano to slow, like Indiana Jones Temple of Doom style. Lower them down slowly into the volcano.
How about you just put them in an isolated cell block and let a bunch of black prisoners just fucking have their way with them?
Yeah. Wow. You automatically
see that's again that's going towards the like ultra like inhuman.